Mychal Massie is a black Republican and a writer for WorldNetDaily, and I tried to find a nicer way to talk about this and to say this, but I can't do it. There is no nicer way to say it. He is the Uncle Tom-iest son of a bitch on the planet, and he should really change his name from Mychal Massie to Mychal Massa. Yes, a Massa. He's a black guy who hates all black people. Now, you might think right now, because I haven't given you the information yet, you might say, Kyle, you're definitely taking it too far. Calm down. You know, you're crossing a line here. So let me read you some segments from his loathsome article on the killing of Michael Brown. He says, quote, "The people are upset because a gangsta wannabe made a bad decision that led to his death, but they ignore the deaths of truly innocent children. St. Louis is home to a Planned Parenthood death mill located at 4251 Forest Park Avenue, and as recently as 2010, it was headed by a black woman." Aha! I got you guys. See, clearly if you're in favor of women's rights and contraception and Plan B and early abortion, well then you're always in favor of murder. Okay, what the fuck are you talking about? So it's murder if it's an embryo or a zygote or a gamete or a pre-gestation fetus? It's murder. It's murder. It's murder. And you're comparing that to a kid who's 18 years old, unarmed, and got gunned down with his hands in the air. You're really making that comparison. He continues, "When blacks aren't killing one another, they are being murdered by abortionists." Thank you yet again for comparing abortion to murder. And thank you for saying when blacks aren't killing one another, because that's clearly all black people know how to do is kill one another. Forget the fact that the issue in question here is police brutality and police unnecessarily abusing their authority and killing people who are unarmed with their hands in the air. Did you know you're 29 times more likely to get killed by a police officer in the United States of America than you are to get killed by a terrorist attack in the United States of America? I don't see Mychal Massie upset about that. No. He wants to blame black people for everything. The issue, it's only black on black violence, only black on black violence. Look, you want to have that conversation, we can have the conversation about black on black violence, and guess what? You guys don't like to acknowledge it, but Al Sharpton and Jesse Jackson and others always do have that conversation. You just fucking ignore it. But that's a different conversation for a different day, because right now the issue is police brutality. It was a white police officer who killed this young black man, and you're bringing fucking abortion into the conversation, and you're bringing black on black violence into the situation? So ignorant. Look, I'm nowhere near done. He says, quote, "Suppose the Ku Klux Klan went on a murderous rampage, burning and destroying cities every time blacks murdered, raped, or viciously assaulted an innocent white person. Speaking of the KKK, I say it is time for blacks to be treated as the KKK have been." I'm not kidding. This is not satire. That's exactly what he said. I want to repeat that. He said, "Speaking of the KKK, I say it is time for blacks to be treated as the KKK have been." That's a quote. That's verbatim. That's a quote. Treat blacks like the KKK. Not, hey, treat the new Black Panthers like the KKK. Not, hey, there's this militant wing that's 0.01% of the black population, and they do not, hey, treat the Crips and the Bloods as members of the KKK. No. Treat blacks as members of the KKK. Well, Mychal Massie, you're black. I guess we should arrest you and call you a terrorist, right? Because you're black, and you just said treat blacks like the KKK. Are you in the KKK? I guess you're in the KKK. You don't want to make a distinction. You don't want to be nuanced. You want to say blacks are like the KKK. An entire race of people is like the KKK. Can there be a more ignorant racist comment than that? This is genuinely an African-American man who hates all African-Americans. He's still not done. Quote, "Even more egregious is the fact that they are encouraged and given emotional sanctuary for their condemnable actions by those who benefit from their animus. These blacks, those like them and those who sympathize with them, are equivalent to toxic allergens, making blacks allergic to civilized behavior." So let me get this straight. Blacks are like allergens or they're allergic to civilized behavior. But what about the cop who shot an unarmed 18-year-old with his hands in the air? Is he allergic to civilized behavior? Because you didn't say that. Or how about the people who are tear gassing peaceful protesters and shooting them with rubber bullets and arresting reporters and using noise machines, which is temporarily making people deaf in the area? Okay, are those people allergic to civilized behavior? Because they're not acting civilized. They're being way more over the top and egregious than the black people you're talking about. But are they allergic to civilized behavior? No. They're just keeping order, and they're the ones that are in authority, and you always bow your head and listen to authority because that's how the world works. If you're black, you have to just listen to the authority no matter what, even if they're telling you something illegitimate. Even if they're being violent against you, if you respond with violence, well, you're the one that's allergic to civilized behavior. They're not allergic to it, even if they do the exact same action or worse action. This is one of the dumbest fucking people I've ever heard make an argument in my life. You know, it's the same thing. It's the massive hypocrisy and contradiction that was put forth from all of the slave owners, from all the people who were in favor of Jim Crow, and for all the people who were in favor of segregation, for all the old school Confederacy people. They actually made the argument that they kept people in slavery, they did Jim Crow, they kept people second-class citizens, they lynched black people, and then the second that black people decided to fight back, what did the white people say? Savages, all they know is violence. But what about the violence you've been doing for all these years? But see, that's the thing. You grandfather in the violence and the savagery of your own race, right? In this case, he's black and he's just a sellout, keep it real. But you grandfather in the actions of white people and say, well, they're okay by definition because they're allowed to do violence and it's always in the name of what's just. And any action that might be even somewhat violent of black people, goddamn savages, that's the only language they speak is violence, that's all they know, and we need to respond in kind. For fuck's sake, can you be objective? Can you use your mind? Can you think about this before you speak about it? But then again, anybody who's going to compare all black people to the KKK is fucking TFG. You know what that means? Too far gone.